Hello, today I'm going to be doing a video on the Sicilian Najdorf with 6 bishop e3. Let's continue with the following moves, the beginning moves: e4, c5, knight f3, d6, d4, pawn takes pawn, knight takes pawn, knight f6, knight c3, and a6, the Najdorf. Bishop e3. This is preparing the English attack with queen d2 followed by long castles, and it's recommended to immediately pounce on this with knight g4, attacking the bishop. The bishop moves unless it's going to allow itself to get captured, which most likely white will not allow. So it moves to bishop g5. We play h6, attacking it again. And after bishop h4 we play g5, attacking it once more. And now white can play two moves here. He can just drop the bishop back to bishop g3, or he can try the aggressive move knight f5, which sacrifices a piece after e6. Queen takes knight, pawn takes knight, and after the queen was attacked, so the pawn takes pawn, and then we take the bishop. Now we're up a piece. However, it's not the end of the story, because the queen moves to d4, attacking the rook, so rook g8, and then knight e4. This was a game we're following. Black played bishop e7 to guard f6, and then after f6, black gave back the queen with check, followed by e5, and after the trade of queens, black lost his piece, and now the material's even. But the endgame he gets is somewhat interesting. He has the open G file, and the white's queenside pawns may be weak. Alright, let's back up. Okay, so that was knight f5 we just went over. Now let's go over the most common move, bishop g3. Now you just develop with bishop g7, and now white has two moves here. The old move is queen d2 or bishop e2, attacking the knight. First, let's go over queen d2. Black plays knight c6, attacking the knight. And when the knight retreats to knight b3, we play b5. A sample variation can continue: f3, knight g5, bishop f2, and rook b8. Alright, that was queen d2. Now let's go over bishop e2 on move 10. Okay, black plays h5 to protect the knight. And now white has two moves here. He can play h4, attacking black's pawn center, trying to prove that it's weak, or bishop takes knight. Let's go over the bishop takes knight first. You take back with the bishop, attacking the queen, and after f3, drop the bishop back to d7. Castles by white, knight c6 developing and attacking the knight. White defends with bishop f2, e6 to stop knight f5, and knight d5, knight c2 to protect the knight again. Knight e5. This was Kasparov. Kasparov was black here, and I believe white was Shirov. b3 to stop knight c4, I believe, and black pushed on with g4. And after f4, attacking the knight, black temporarily sacrificed a piece with h4, because after pawn takes knight, pawn takes pawn, the white knight on d4 has nowhere to move. Okay, that was bishop takes knight on move 10. Now let's go, or on move 11, excuse me. Now let's go over h4. Black plays knight c6, attacking d4 once again. And here white has a couple different moves. you can play knight b3, knight f3, or knight takes c6. First, let's go over knight takes c6, pawn takes, and then after you give up a pawn, you sacrifice a pawn. But after rook b8, you're going to have a good play along the b file against b2, along with your dark square bishop. Alright, let's go back. Now let's go over knight f3. We take the pawn, and after bishop takes, we play our queen out to a5, attacking c3. And in this game, white just castled, but didn't have anything to show for his pawn loss. Black won a pawn, and black's doing okay here. Okay, that was knight f3. Now let's go over knight b3. We take the pawn, and here white can capture with his bishop. And after bishop e6, castles, rook c8, queen d2, bishop e5, this is a sample variation, g3, queen b6. Alright, back to knight b3. Now instead of bishop takes, let's look at the rook takes. Here we play bishop e6 again, queen d2, queen b6, eyeing b2 and f2. And in this game, Polgar played knight d5, and after bishop takes, pawn takes, knight e5, white thought to trade queens because of black's centralized pieces. Or excuse me, not in this one. We didn't trade queens, just cast along. The other variation, they trade queens. Knight g6, the rook drops back. Bishop a6, attacking the queen. So f4, and then black traded queens with queen e3. Bishop takes, queen takes, knight takes, pawn takes bishop, and this is a decent endgame for black. And I believe that's all I have. No, I must have something else because of the other variation. The bishop takes, bishop e6, queen d2, queen b6. This is a similar variation. Knight e5, and now white traded queens. And after the trade of queens, knight g6, black has another good endgame. And that's all I have for bishop e3. Hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for more, and I'll see you later.